The Power of Video Games on One's Mind, presented by Julian Keyes. So what is mental health? The APA, American Psychological Association, states that mental health is a state of mind characterized by emotional well-being, relative freedom from anxiety, and a capacity to establish constructive relationships and cope with life's ordinary demands and stresses. Now this means that mental health contributes to someone's mind and decision making. Now, what is the importance of video games? Sutter Health summarizes that playing video games helps one decrease stress, relax, and activate parts of the brain to help with decision making. This demonstrates that video games can be made to help people and are something that we should utilize to our advantage to construct important decisions. Next, what is the main argument made? How do video games contribute to the well-being of someone's mental health? The stimulus material containing Simone Biles, the title being Simone Biles, in the most human meaning of courage, specifically states that it's harder than ever to own up to weakness and fragility. It's more difficult now to declare insufficiency. This demonstrates that our minds are capable of many things. It's how we choose to use it that matters the most. And it impacts not only others, but also ourselves. Another stimulus material, Moral Courage and Intellectual Disobedience by Ted Thomas and Irsha Leff states that acting on one's obligations, morals, and convictions is necessary for moral courage. Now this means that one's actions are directly connected to what is right and wrong. This connects to the topic of video games because they can contribute to mental health by providing a platform for players to encourage with different narratives to show moral decision making, fostering moral courage with a safe virtual environment. Overall, both of these quotes demonstrate the importance of overcoming challenges and using your brain to overcome obstacles that you might face in your life. Now, what are some positives and examples? Y.J. Holbrook, who has a degree in psychology, and her colleagues state that a positive correlation was found between video gaming and visual attention processing, and a correlation with competence in analogous tasks was suggested. Now this means that tasks are more likely to be completed and accomplished when video games come into play, contributing to a big impact on one's mental health. Second, Daniel Johnson from Queensland University of Technology states that video games can create an embodied empathy for a complex system. Now this means that video games are mainly connected to a teenager's brain, leaving them with options and scenarios to make because of effects being made. Lastly, the movie Ready Player One, which comes to life in the year 2045 in Columbus, Ohio, relies on virtual reality more than the real world. Now this movie gives a clear depiction of how people would rely on technology, specifically video games, more than they would anything else. And as they would use it as a way to escape reality. A survey done by Tech Times demonstrates and surveys over 500 people in the United States and aim to establish how their mental health may have been impacted by gaming. The results show how majority of the people of the age ranges 18 to 29 use video games as a way to distract themselves with things that they have going on every day. Second, both age ranges 18 to 29 and 30 to 44 use it as a way to positively challenge themselves mentally. Lastly, all age ranges are most likely to use video games as a way of relaxation. Now this chart clearly exemplifies how important video games are for not only the younger generation in order to relax and have free time off from stressful things. The counter-argument. A counterclaim would be that video games aren't good for one's health and make them less likely to interact with others in real life. Muhanan Quader, a professor of computer engineering who uses a survey to determine content concerning video games, says that late childhood and early adolescence represent the most time consuming between other ages in playing video games. Muhammad is demonstrating how video games take up time from someone's life, meaning that they would miss out on other things. Second, Samuel Parkins, who has a degree in the field of technology, states that video games are in a big downfall concerning the well-being of the person playing them. When Samuel states that they're in a big downfall, he means that he is demonstrating that they're impacting the person playing them, and they're choosing to spend their time in another way instead of playing games outside, etc. Overall, both of these counterclaims demonstrate how video games impact someone and can impact their mental health in either a positive or negative way. However, as stated before, the positive outweigh these claims because of the numerous options, examples being escaping from reality, positive correlations, and more. Now, here's a conclusion and solution to the overuse of video games. Video games are a key component of many people's lives, especially their mental health. Now, this is exemplified specifically through decision-making, task abilities, and more. It's important that they should be limited to a certain amount of time, never overused. Video games are intended for a certain purpose in amongst many people and are used for the fulfillment of joy. They should be used correctly and in the right fashion whenever possible. And video games are going to be around for the rest of many people's lives, and we must cherish this gift that we are given to the best of our abilities. Overall, a clear demonstration of how someone can grow and thrive on video games is made, and it's critical to cherish our technology and limit the use of them as to build our own social interactions with others and keep our mental health at its very best. These are my sources. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thanks, Giovanni. Okay, you go ahead and detach. I'll ask you your 2 questions, and then we'll wrap this thing up. So for the first question, was there any information that you searched for that would have helped with your presentation that you weren't able to find? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So when I first started researching video games, I was seeing if studies shown amongst the younger ages, or if I could expand more towards younger ages and older ages. And I found out that it'd be more important to do the younger ages because that's when their brain is undeveloped. And as you get older, you make different decisions and you're less likely to play video games. So I decided to mainly focus my research on the younger teenagers instead of the older generation.
Okay. And then as a follow-up to that, what additional questions emerged as you went through the process? Could you tell us about some of those?
Yeah, sure. So as time went on, I realized that video games, sorry, could you repeat the question?
Sure. What additional questions emerged as you went through the research process?
So as time went on, I realized that video games aren't a main factor of mental health, but they could use it as a way to escape. So I realized, how can I repeat one more time?
Sure. What additional questions emerged as you went through the research process?
So as I researched, I realized the main question I would be asking is, how does video games contribute to someone's mental health? And the main question I was asking is, how does mental health contribute to video games?
Okay. Terrific. Thank you very much.